back to Module 3.3, what to do in times of estrangement, and looking at biblical examples of estrangement. We talked a little bit about this in the other section of Module 3.2. We looked at the importance of gaining support when you are in an estranged situation, when you have exhausted your ability to connect with your family member. Maybe you've apologized, maybe you've tried to have meetings and they are stonewalling and they refuse to talk, they refuse to take any of your calls, and they are avoiding you. That creates a lot of emotional tension and a lot of emotional vulnerability. But you have to remember that you can only control you. And while you're so used to connecting and wanting to connect, and you see what is happening and you value family at that moment, the other person does not. That's a hard pill to swallow, that people that raised you, people that grew up with you, are now choosing to be separate from you, to make you live without their support, and to send you a message that you're wrong, you're not worthy, or any of those things, or maybe just on the innocent level, you don't have enough love and support and acceptance for me, so I'm leaving because I'm guilty and shamed. It's still an affront to your ego. Remember, we talked about ego responding? And something in you wants to correct this and send a message that I'm not that way. This is not who I am. Let's work it out. But remember, relationships are two-way streets. When someone has decided to stonewall and to cut you off or not to communicate, they have turned their back on the relationship. You can try to chase them, but the more you chase them, the further they go away. So in accepting that they are not choosing to be in relationship with you can cause anxiety and depression, depending on the strength of the relationship in the past. It is so heart-wrenching for children whose parents have cut them off, because their parents were here when they got here, and that was their sole source of security and support. So they feel a great re-injury of abandonment and of disconnection and fear and sadness, overwhelming sadness that can be debilitating, and that could cause your immune system to just freeze. I mean, your autonomic nervous system to just freeze. And when that happens, you're just stuck. You're stuck in the wanting, the needing, and the desiring of the relationship. And you're lonely, and you're in regret and the what ifs, and you begin to ruminate. And those are all things that are not helpful in the progress of moving forward and dealing with the estrangement. Maybe you thought you'd never have to deal with estrangement. Oh, that would never happen to me and my family. Any family member can experience estrangement, especially because it's so popular in our current day. In time past, people valued families, and they valued unity, and they encouraged unity. And there was a sense of consciousness that you would feel if you were not connected to your family. Family was everything. For some people, family is nothing. And so we have transitioned to the modern age of family being an option, but not necessarily something that you need or something to fight for. So in looking at that, we have to accept that accepting the reality is painful, it's mentally exhausting, and it can impair your health, your psychology, your emotional health, your spiritual health. It can throw everything off balance, because remember, in a system, when one thing changes, everything changes. So the absence of that person, or the strain and the dis-ease in the relationship, causes dis-ease in you until you're able to work on controlling what you can control. So therapy is very valuable when people are dealing with estrangement, because you need to process your thoughts and your emotions, and you need to be able to look at the reality of what is, what may have caused it, and to challenge any distorts that you might have around guilt and shame if you set boundaries and now people are leaving the relationship. You need to have an unbiased opinion to help you sort through your emotions and bring sobriety to your emotions. That person can be a therapist, that person can be a pastor, or that person can be a mature, trusted friend. But you have to be able to talk about it. You should not attempt to handle estrangement by yourself. It's embarrassing, yes, to say that my kids aren't talking to me or my siblings aren't talking to me, because it feels like you've done something wrong. Because who wouldn't talk to their mother? Who wouldn't talk to their child? Who wouldn't talk to their siblings? You must have did something wrong. So there's an element of shame that comes with the truth of estrangement in your family. And most families like to present well, and you have to confess, this is what's going on in my family. There is a breakdown, and that we are not the family that everyone thinks we are, possibly. So in getting that therapy, getting that pastoral support, getting that friendship support, if you need to cry, if you need to mourn the loss of the relationship, that's 100% healthy. Do that, because there's a process of estrangement that needs to happen, and it is the same process of grief. Initially, like I said, you're going to be in denial. Not me. This is just a little attitude they're having. Oh, they'll get back to their senses. And so you don't accept the reality that the relationship is broken and that there's estrangement. And then after you accept it and you're shocked and you're in denial or shock, and then comes sadness. You need to be able to grieve what you're losing or what you've lost. But our society make you feel like people are disposable. And I have friends and I have other family members. I don't need you. And the truth is, we need each other. Everybody needs everybody, because God put us here together. So God knew what we needed when he gave us our families. So your disposing of your family member is disposing of God's gift to you, saying, I don't need that. I can find something else. It's a direct rejection of what God gave you. And we like to do that so that we don't feel any emotions about the relationship ending. So we try to find fault. Well, they didn't do anything for me anyways, and they were always a headache, and child, my stress level is free now, and I'm glad they're not around. But all that's doing is compensating for the pain. And if you're ever going to be healthy and dealing with the loss of a relationship in the family or any relationship, you have to be able to grieve the good and the bad. You have to be able to just look at what you're losing. But usually we look at the bad things to try to make us feel better. Like, I'm better than that. I'm coming into people who celebrate me. I'm going into my next season. I don't need my family. Family ain't all it's supposed to be. Families change. All of that chitter chatter talk of unhealthy people, it can get in your system and cause your healing process to be delayed. But you must go through the grieving process for change and for healing. So after you're sad and you're honest and you are able to cry, mourn, and do those steps, the next step that has to happen is anger. You have to allow yourself to be angry that this is an injustice. If there's unfairness, if someone stonewalled you, if someone ghosted you, if someone just left the relationship unfairly and left you in a position of unfinished business, a parent, you get to be angry about that. You get to be angry that the person didn't have enough respect to talk things out. The person didn't value you enough to talk things out. That should make you angry, because anger is a symbol of something is not right. It is a check in the balance system. It is the red light of the right system. It's the red light of the righteous system in your values. And when something is wrong, anger shows up to say, this is not right. I don't like how I'm being treated. And so it is a protest. You should have an internal protest called anger. And you cannot move forward in your healing process. You'll just be stuck. You'll put the healing process on ice, and you'll continue to loop and ruminate and continue to share your story of how you were mistreated over and over and over. It's like going to court every day and pleading your case and pleading your case. And you will be trapped in this litigation of, I was mistreated, until you allow yourself to be angry. After you're angry, the next step is acceptance. What can you do about it? Well, you really can't do anything about it. You can't. You can't make people listen to you. You can't make people gain compassion or value the relationship because it's choice. So it's accepting the vulnerability of the fact that my family is falling apart. My parents aren't speaking to me. My siblings aren't speaking to me. I'm not speaking to my parents. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it because change is not an option. And I can't live in this dysfunction. That vulnerability is, it is sad, and it hurts you to realize that I'm stuck in a situation that I didn't choose necessarily, and I want better, but there's nothing I can do. There's nothing. I've done everything. I've done apologizing, reaching out. I've done all of that. I hope you did all that, and I hope that you try to mend the breach. And then after you accept, this is just what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it, then you can come to the resolve of, what can I do about it? Because there's always something you can do about a I can't do anything situation. And that what is control you. You get to control your response. You get to control the things that are controllable, which are the things that you can do in the relationship. Like you're in therapy, that's you helping yourself and doing what you can do. You going through the process of grief and loss, that's what you can do, You accepting the reality in the serenity prayer. Because the fine line is, Lord, help me to accept the things that I cannot change and give me courage to change the things I can and give me wisdom to know the difference. Because I don't want to be chasing the rabbit for the rest of my life or feeling remorse for the rest of my life. They have decided to go on. I would like to go on with my life. I want my conscience to be clear. I want my health. I want to be a person who doesn't harbor bitterness and anger, but I want to have a full life. I want to honor that I miss the people who are gone, but I also want to honor the life that I still have. You get to honor the life that you still have, and you get to encourage people to honor the life that they still have. It's a dialect. While you honor the life you still have, you can still miss the people who are not in it. It's like when people physically leave Earth and the relationship changes. You still love them, but you miss them, right? And you get to honor that. I still love you. You're across town. I refuse to be engaged in the negativity because of quantum physics. We're still related. And if I engage in the anger, it's going to connect to pain. But if I let go and do it in love, at least that's going to heal me and bring me some oxytocin. Because the only thing that can heal pain, emotional pain, is love and good vibes and good emotional states, right? So then you look around and you continue to build your support system. After you've gone to therapy, worked through the process of grief, done reality and radical acceptance and the serenity prayer, you continue to build your support system. But the rebuilding of your support system and the building of the support system that's left, you're going to build better. You're going to build with the knowledge that you learned from the broken relationship, and you're going to be better, and you're going to set boundaries earlier, and you're going to keep enforcing them, and you're going to love, and you're going to look for reciprocity, and you're going to do all the things that you need to do and that you learned from the relationship that is estranged. And you're going to build safe relationships and protect yourself and protect other people, but you're not going to try to replace the people who have left. You can't replace a parent. You can't replace a sibling because every other relationship is different. And that's the problem with estrangement. People feel like parents are disposable, family members are disposable, and they're not. You only get one mother, one father. The rest are mother images and father images. Or if you're young, they can be a father or mother to you. But in estranged relationships, then you can look for mentors and support, but you don't have to find that mother figure because guess what's going to happen? You're going to be triggered. You're going to have all those issues of trust again. So the best recommendation for that is not to try to replace people who are gone, but to build healthy relationships with the people who are there and build a safe place for people who are coming in.